right. Hi, guys. Hi, C. Newton. So this is for anybody on the live stream that comes in now or later to get an idea of where everybody's from. Yeah, hopefully as people start coming in, they can start asking questions as well. What we're going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and share a screen, and we're going to take a look at the current radar over the Carolinas. All right, so putting this radar in motion, we can see where there was some snowfall, even over southern parts of Virginia today. A lot of this is very light up around Lynchburg, Salem, Roanoke, eastward into Buckingham and Powhatan counties. Where it's really coming down at the moment is in Halifax County, Pennsylvania County, and affecting towns such as Danville, westward into Martinsville, along Interstate 58 in Southern Virginia towards Stewart, even Hillsville. Um, any one of these southern towns in the state of Virginia could see anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of snow. Some models are showing anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of snow. Where I think that is most likely is in the town of Martinsville, maybe even westward towards Galax, where you have the higher terrain there in Southwest Virginia. But as far as the snowfall in its heaviest amounts, I guess, will be in North Carolina today. One thing you'll notice is as you get down to Winston-Salem, Greensboro, High Point, and the northern Piedmont of North Carolina, you can see these darker blues on the radar. And for that reason, we have this heavier snow that's moved into the northern Piedmont. And even to the south and west of that towards Morganton, even towards Charlotte. Charlotte's probably getting moderate to heavy snowfall right now, even westward towards Columbus in North Carolina. So this entire area, it's not uncommon to see snowfall, but the amounts we're going to be seeing today are rare. And in some cases, if you're living in Greensboro, let's say southward to Charlotte, even westward towards Winston-Salem, and then south and west to Asheville, you could easily pick up 6 inches of snow today. And I think as we get towards a place like Charlotte, even down south into parts of South Carolina, there's going to be a zone of maybe 8 to 12 inches of snow that sets up in this area. And as we move further, let's say to the east, let's say east towards Durham and Raleigh, there's actually a dry slot. And this is something I'm sure local forecasters have been scrambling to figure out. Where's that dry slot going to set up with this developing system? And what made it so difficult the last couple of days for forecasters, and I'm sure this is the case for those in North and South Carolina in particular, is that what cannot be seen on the screen here is that there's an upper level low. And that upper level low is somewhere west of the Appalachians currently. And the position of that really impacted this western shield of precipitation that we're seeing over eastern Georgia, north and eastward into South Carolina, North Carolina, and southern portions of Virginia. So what we're seeing here, that western shield precipitation, is all due to the position of that upper level low. And again, that was very difficult to figure out its position, its speed with time. And there's going to be more or less a phasing and even a transition of power, really, to this low pressure off the coast of North Carolina. So the precipitation we're seeing in Goldsboro, Wilson, even towards Greenville. Let's push this ad down for a moment. And then even, let's say, eastward towards Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. Uh, what we're seeing here is all snow, even into the Outer Banks, which is very rare, right? If you live in Elizabeth City, Kill Devil Hills, Nags Head, these areas are not going to see snow every year. In fact, it might be once every 3, 4, even 5 years that places like this in eastern North Carolina receive snowfall. Where we could see a changeover to rain, and again, this might be snow that's just not sticking to the ground here, is, let's say, south of Manteo. As we get towards Cape Hatteras itself, we can see temperatures in the mid 30s at this time. So it might take that low pressure moving further to the east, let's say this afternoon and even this evening, to see a full changeover to snowfall up and down, let's say, the Outer Banks here of North Carolina. So eventually, and again, this is going to be a big question mark for Raleigh and Durham, for those that live there. And it's a lot of people that live in North Carolina here. When is this going to actually fill in? And it's going to take probably until middle afternoon, maybe towards 3 or 4 p.m. to see this spot fill in. So whereas Greensboro, Charlotte are getting heavy accumulations of snow for several hours here, we're not going to see this fill in probably until mid-afternoon for Durham and Raleigh. And that's going to cut down on some of the accumulations that were expected here. And for anyone that's followed the National Weather Service and their prediction of accumulating snow in this part of North Carolina, you probably saw quite the range, anywhere from 1 to maybe even 8 inches of snow in some of the forecasts here. So quite the range. And this was very difficult for forecasters to figure out. But over this region here in particular, we still could pick up 3 to 6 inches of snow. It just depends on when it does fill in. Again, I think maybe towards the end of this live stream, we'll start to see this radar begin to fill in this region. As far as those that live, let's say, towards Newport News, Virginia Beach, again, this is another area that doesn't see snowfall that often. Again, plenty cold with the system. Temperatures in the lower 20s here, and probably not going to rise into the mid 20s until maybe mid-afternoon here. Temperatures will probably drop as soon as the snow does start falling in Norfolk. But this area here could easily pick up 3 to 6 inches of snow. The only real, I think, area that's going to miss out in this system, and you probably saw it in my video a couple of days ago, the potential, and albeit a lower potential for snow from the system, was over here in Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. Nantucket is an area that will probably still get snow as that storm bombs out right along the East Coast. The only issue is that low is going to probably track further to the east, and it's going to miss a lot of you. And probably fortunately so. I don't think anybody in Boston or Hartford wants more snow right now, or even Providence. I could be wrong. I think those that maybe would want it, that have kind of struggled to see it this season, would be over Long Island. I could see folks there wanting a bit more snow. But yeah, it looks like Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, southern portions of New Hampshire, southern Maine. A lot of these areas are not going to pick up the amounts of snow that you guys were getting forecast potentially, right, 3 or 4 days ago. Again, some models were showing a foot of snow in Nantucket. And yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be quite that much. I do think you guys that live in the Northeast could see some snow. Again, if you live in Plymouth, if you live in Nantucket. But yeah, if you live in Hartford to Boston, not so much. I'd actually be very surprised if you get a lot of snow from the system. So yeah, we've been talking about the radar over the Carolinas, over Virginia, talking about the dry slot, right, that's set up over North and South Carolina, and that will be affecting some of the accumulations that were expected there. What I'd like to do now is kind of go back to our chat and see what we have here. Uh, it looks like, yeah, we just have one response from C. Newton at the moment. Um, but yeah, thank you. Thank you for your response there. And for anyone that is tuning in later, of course. I think what we will do next is we will actually go to some of the live traffic cams. So we'll get out of Weather Underground for a bit and actually look at maybe the traffic cameras in some of these states, right? Such as North Carolina.